Сайн байцгаана уу хүн төлөвчтэй. Өнөөдөр манай дефакто нэвтрүүлгийн зочноор Америкийн нэгдсэн улсын Colorado мужийн нийслэл Дэнвер хотын дарга Майкл Хэнкок оролцож байна. Good evening.
Good evening. Glad to be with you.
Welcome to Mongolia, sir.
Oh, I've enjoyed Mongolia a great deal.
You are the second mayor visiting this town, our capital city. I'm from the city.
Right.
And there is so many interesting connections with your state and with your city. So we have a lot of things to talk.
Good.
Please, before that, what's your impression so far coming visit to Mongolia?
You know, Mongolia and Ulaanbaatar is a lot like Denver. We get 4 distinct seasons. You know, we're at the foothills of the mountains. The climate is very similar. People here are just as friendly as the folks we like to, you know, think about in Denver, and being friendly and hospitable and welcoming to folks from the outside. I've really, truly enjoyed myself, and the food has been fabulous, you know, and so I'm impressed with Mongolia, and really, you know, the commitment to developing and becoming a stronger presence in this region.
See, I spent my certain time of my life, 3 years in Denver, studied at the Daniels of University of Denver. You are a graduate from a CU Denver, right?
Yes.
Colorado University.
I also have an honorary doctorate degree from DU.
Oh, see, we are nice. It's a great honor, really, to share these values of this great city.
Right.
And why you are this? It is just your second term starts to be a mayor of the city. What makes you to be that politicians with such a drive, you know, going through these competitions, races, and running the city? Why?
You know what? Listen, in America, there are, you know, politics are big. And I'm, you know, grew up and just passionate about politics and community engagement and civic engagement. And I'll tell you that as I moved toward politics, I found municipal or local government politics very fascinating. And if you're going to play at the municipal or local government level, you really want to be mayor. I mean, mayors to me are the most fascinating people in the entire political, the body of politics in the United States of America. If you're not going to be president of the United States, you want to be mayor of a great city.
In Denver, or in many other cities of the United States, mayors are elected by direct votes.
Direct vote. Right.
So the citizens vote.
Absolutely.
Not necessarily because you are politicians, they select as individual, as a citizen of that city, right?
Absolutely.
Which is not the case in Mongolia.
Oh, really? Interesting. So, yeah, I have to live in the city in order to be the mayor. And I came from the city council, so I had to live in the city of Denver in a particular area to represent that area on city council.
Here in Mongolia, you to be, first of all, this among the parliament members of the city.
Absolutely.
And among them, they select the mayor.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Which we, ordinary citizens, oppose a lot nowadays. So, but the legal system is like this, and hopefully down the road one day we will directly vote for our mayor. Interesting, I saw your bio, and you are one of 10 siblings, right?
I'm the youngest of 10, yes.
Youngest of 10. And you grown up in Texas.
I grew up in Denver. I was born in Texas. Born in Texas, yes.
And you moved to, when a small child, your parents moved, obviously, to Denver. And and before you, there was Mayor Webb, who also visited Ulaanbaatar.
He did. He came to Ulaanbaatar not as the mayor at the time. I think he had already left office. But Mayor Webb was responsible for Ulaanbaatar becoming a sister city with the city of Denver. So he executed that process, and then he would leave office, but he made good on a commitment that he made to visit Ulaanbaatar. Just as I made a commitment when I became mayor, there were several members of your city council in Denver at the time, and I committed to visiting this great city.
While I was there, and later on, I have observed that you have a great cities relationship with several cities in the world. Why is that about?
Well,
what is that about?
You know, the city of Denver made a commitment dating back to the 1950s to participate in the Sister Cities framework. And we took great care into identifying cities that were most like us in topography, geography, and climate, who would share some of the common values that we would share. And you know, Ulaanbaatar is our 10th sister city, and we haven't grown from that. We have 10 today, but you share a lot of our common values, and as we grow, we're going to look to get deeper and more substantive in our relationships with our sister city across the world.
And plus, it is also driven by people. Many Americans in Colorado and Mongolians who studied there, living there, their children's, you know, already second generations ago. They sort of, it's tied by ordinary people's wish and enthusiasm, right?
Right.
That's why we have, you were a part of yesterday a ceremony, right? Naming, opening, or what was the ceremony
about? We named a street in front of the U.S. Embassy, the city of Denver Street.
Yeah, on the bank of the river.
Yes.
You call, yes. We have now, in Ulaanbaatar city, we have a street, Dэнvер Street, right?
Yes, you do.
And you have the same in Colorado, in Dэнvер.
We have a Ulaanbaatar Park.
Park.
And so we tend to name our parks, which are very important to the people of Denver. Our parks are open space where people recreate and enjoy, and it includes, you know, improves our quality of life.
Indeed, I was a part of that life.
Yeah, so you know about that. And so we take great care to name our parks, and we name one after our sister city.
Streets are property of the city?
They're owned by the city.
Streets and parks.
And parks.
What else?
The city of Denver owns a lot. I mean, we have a lot of buildings, obviously, parks, pavilions, monuments. We own the airport.
You have a ski resort.
We have a ski resort. We own about 14,000 acres of mountain parkland, which is about 30, 45 minutes from the city of Denver. So we own herds of bison. I mean, it's the city of Denver is quite, you know.
You have a lot of bisons, more than us.
Well, you know, I got to tell you, we're very fortunate to be beneficiaries of very smart forefathers who went and purchased land on behalf of the people of Denver. And they purchased parkland or mountain parkland because they wanted the people of Denver to be able to escape the city and, you know, find rest and peace and come back to the city where they would work.
Yeah, a lot of park access is affordable.
Absolutely.
Parking is good.
Right.
And, you know, I was told that there was no trees in Denver, say 150 years ago. And that's a completely green
You
city,
noticed, yeah, that's right. Big, a lot of trees in the city of Denver.
And yet Denver is becoming a very global city.
Yes.
How do you see that now? Why is that happening?
You know what, I don't think there's anything more important we can be doing right now than to become a more active and competitive player on the global in the global marketplace, particularly as we prepare our young people to be more competitive going forward in this global marketplace. The great global recession that we all just experienced has taught us that, you know, the waters and the boundaries that tend to artificially separate us don't matter anymore. Technology has superseded all that. And if we really want to be competitive players, if we want to make sure our children, our young people are prepared to compete globally, whether they live here in Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia, or in Denver, Colorado, we need to make sure that those boundaries are erased and that they have access to the rest of the global marketplace. And so that's why we're so focused on it. And I came in as mayor, and it was one of the top things I said we're going to work on, taking Denver across the world, across the water, and we're going to make sure people know we're here to compete, and we're here to be their partner.
You are two things. One is this, you have a wonderful international airport.
Yes.
Very friendly, huge, and it's even becoming bigger.
Bigger,
big
yes.
park and big park. Who is investing there and how much investment you are doing?
You know, first of all, we had to invest in ourselves. And you're right, we have the second largest airport in the world, 53 square miles. We had to determine that we were going to be focused on developing the airport and around the airport commercially so that we could market those opportunities around the world. And then secondly, we had to determine we're landlocked, similar to you. Yeah, here in Ulaanbaatar, we are landlocked, and so we had to leverage our greatest port, which was the airport. And the airport helps us connect throughout the world. And so we wanted to leverage it and take it to the world, show everyone how great an asset it is. And we had to believe it ourselves. And what we found is that indeed foreign corporations or Fortune 500 companies are starting to look. We just attracted Panasonic enterprises to the airport area, and they're going to build a huge innovation lab at the airport site. And that's the kind of business development that we had hoped 4 or 5 years ago when I started to lead the city, we would attract to the area.
When you said attracted, you offer, what kind of things, incentives do you offer?
We do some incentives. To bring a company like Panasonic, we say, you know, we'll give you some tax relief for a period of time in order to bring your company here and to create the kind of jobs.
That means city has its own tax.
Yeah, the city has its own tax.
What is the percent of the tax?
We collect sales taxes.
Yeah,
so we for every sale point, we have a 3.69% tax, sales tax on that we put on your
every
services.
sale on the territory of the city.
On the city and county of Denver, it's primarily just on products, not food, but on products.
On products. So
Yes.
in that way you attract.
Right.
And another thing very striking is tourism, I think.
Yes.
You know, Colorado has the best, I think, ski slopes, ski resorts in the world. Where I
Absolutely.
enjoy every winter. What part of your economy is that winter tourism?
Tourism is our #1 economic driver.
Wow, is
Yeah,
it?
and you know, our tourists spent roughly $14.5 million in the city and county of Denver last year.
Wow.
And so we have seen a tremendous amount of investment from our tourists who come into our city, stay in our hotels, rent cars, eat in our restaurants,
Yes.
buy our goods and services while they're there. And we use, of course, those resources to reinvest back in the city, to build our roads, keep them in good working condition, pay for our police, our firefighters, our other first responders, as well as to attract businesses and jobs to our city.
And in a very striking example for that, I believe, is, for example, old airport, Stapleton,
Absolutely.
which you have redeveloped it.
Absolutely.
How it happened like that?
Well, you're looking at roughly 4,700 acres of land where the airport vacated and moved further east. And, you know, Mayor Webb was in charge at the time, and he and his team had a tremendous vision that we needed to, either we're going to leave this place boarded up and there would be, you know, rolling weeds in the area, or we're going to have a vision to develop it. And today, close to 20,000 people live at the old airport that has been completely redeveloped. We have shops, we have restaurants, we have malls, we have parks and schools and housing for people there. And it's just one of the most dynamic neighborhoods, fastest growing neighborhoods in the city of Denver.
What was specific of New Stapleton to me was different income people
Absolutely.
and different income housing
Right.
combined together. There is no segregation, something, so that people of different walk, different profession, different income feel like one.
Absolutely.
Is it?
You know, absolutely. It's a value of the city of Denver to forge affordable housing in neighborhoods when we are developing over 30 units. And of course, we're developing thousands of units. So we wanted to make sure that there was some element of affordable housing in that community. It is a neighborhood that, you know, ranges from affordability all the way to your high-end housing. And I'm proud of the fact that if you drove in a neighborhood, you wouldn't know the affordable housing from the high-end. Obviously, high-end is a little more distinctive, but for the most part, the mid-income to the working community or working poor housing, you wouldn't recognize the difference.
Well, that's what I was feeling also when in Denver I was living. In Denver, I saw different races, different religious people. In spite of all the difference, people live quite in harmony, and which is not the case in, for example, now in Ferguson. And it is, of course, a kind of issue that not completely solved. From time to time, it comes like old wound somewhere. How do you feel being a mayor, black mayor of the city of Denver,
Yes.
second black mayor of the city, and having also this sort of different races? What is behind that issue? What do you
Well, I think first, as you know, and you pointed out already, I'm the second black mayor to serve in Denver, in a city where blacks only make up, 10% of the population. So this is a city that simply believes that if you're qualified and you can articulate a vision for the city, they're willing to invest in you no matter what race or background you come from. You know, I grew up very poor in Denver, and I'm African American, again representing only 10% of the community. For a city to invest in someone like me, and to say that if you have a vision for this great city of ours, and if you play by the rules and you work hard, we'll be willing to invest in you. And that's exactly what this city has done. They've given me the honor to serve as mayor. I'm proud to represent Denver because it is diverse and because it is accepting of different races and nationalities. You know, it's not to say that we don't have challenges. Every city has challenges, but being willing to have those conversations in open forums, to address the elephants in the room, if you will, as we like to say in the U.S.
Yes.
It's very important because we believe that our children, we live in Denver because our children are growing up in diverse
Whatever
communities.
issues are there, it's better to address,
Let's
not
address
to ignore.
them, absolutely,
Right?
yeah.
Okay.
And that's the environment I grew up in.
Exactly on that note, you co-authored a book in which you said about the leadership for 21st century. What is that?
It's called Standing in the Gap. And basically what it talked about was, you know, there was, particularly coming from the African American community, a time when leadership called for protest, called for, you know, agitation in order to create progress. The 21st century leadership called for greater vision, and it called for investment in the human beings who surround you. It called for ethics. It called for having the ability to bring people together to discuss big, difficult issues sometimes. And that's what the book really outlines. So we talk about those individuals from our past who stood up and made a difference, whether it was Dr. Martin Luther King and some of his contemporaries, or leaders today who simply say it's about bringing everyone together. It's about having a vision and leading the city, the state, or the nation forward.
That's, I think, a lot Coloradoans, Denver people do.
Right.
I see a lot of people are running in the morning, strikingly, I think, a lot.
Right.
And how do you see the sport a part of being the citizens' part, and how to make it better?
Jargo, we are considered one of the healthiest, most active
Yes.
cities in the entire United States.
Yes.
Sports play a tremendous role in Denver. I mean, we identified ourselves through sports. In fact, I think you can look at Denver's past and say this great city really came onto the national and global scene through sports. Whether it was John Elway, who helped us go to 2 Super Bowls or to 5 Super Bowls, win 2 of them, or it was, you know, people watching skiing in Denver, Colorado. Sports play a critical role. We have 7 professional teams in Denver, whether it's soccer, lacrosse, you know, hockey, baseball, basketball, football.
And I think it's in the blood of guys in Denver.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. It's just a very active city.
When you were a small boy, you were for Broncos mascot, Huddles.
I
What
was
is
the
that
mascot.
about?
Well, you know what? Listen, I was in high school, and the Broncos, the Denver Broncos, our professional football team, needed a mascot.
Yes.
And I had a mentor who worked for the Denver Broncos, and he asked me, he said, hey, you know, how'd you like to be Huddles? And I'm like, what is a Huddles?
Okay.
He said, our mascot.
Okay.
It's a horse that stands on his hind legs and wears a helmet and entertains the crowd. So I signed on to be the Broncos mascot. I was probably the highest paid high school student in the state of Colorado.
What was it about?
Well, you know, it was just about, you know, leading the crowd. And we were going to the Super Bowl that year, and so it was about being part of that overall excitement. But, you know, they paid me $100 an hour to do it. And, you know, if I was hired out for special events or private parties, I got even more than that. So it was a pretty cool deal.
And plus, it's very important for a young kid
Yes.
that you can earn yourself.
Absolutely.
Instead of, you know, getting suddenly rich, and then this richness comes out immediately too.
Absolutely. I earned it, and that costume was heavy, and it was hot. And, you know, so I lost 10 pounds every time I put it on.
You're very fit. How often you run?
I work out 3 days a week.
3 days.
3 days
How
a week,
long?
including cardio and weights. Anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour, 15 minutes.
Wow.
Just got to try to take care of yourself.
And but also probably you feel also a public responsibility. You cannot say that I'm sick, I cannot go to office,
exactly,
no?
exactly. It does help you, one, stay healthy, and two, it helps with your stamina. You know, my days range sometimes from 14 to 16 hours a day.
Wow.
5-6 days a week, and it's, you know, you got to stay at it. You got to stay focused, you got to stay alert, you got to stay fresh.
Mayor, your wife is also actress,
Yes.
famous actress.
Yeah.
I mean, you're both too famous. How you combine the time, and is it sometimes difficult to arrange everything like this, you know, exercise? And
yeah, well, you know, it helps our children are older as well. But yeah, Mary Louise, my wife, is a recording artist and has done stage work as a theatrical performer. Stays awfully busy. There are times where she's jumping on plane to go perform somewhere, or she's going to do a corporate gig where she has her own band, and or she's in studio recording. But today we also have older children, so our children are not little anymore. They're teenagers or in college age, so it helps that they're more independent. But yeah, we make it work. We just figure it out. We make it work.
And all do the Coloradoans as well, Denverites. Always, you know, there is a one always striking and amazing me. I like it. Your performing arts, the Center of Performing Arts.
Yeah.
Please tell us about that center to my audience.
You know, we have the the busiest performance arts complex in the entire United States of America. By ticket sales, we have more visitors than anyone else, even New York and Chicago.
How many theaters under that same?
Oh, it's the largest theatrical or performing arts complex in the nation right now. There are 4 different performing arts complexes under one roof. And so you can see a symphony, an opera, a ballet, or a theatrical play in really one night if you wanted to.
Yep.
And you go there and it's just a vibrant place and people come and enjoy.
I went to each of them and I saw what the amazing high quality buildings are, parkings, you know, the cafeteria.
Yes.
It should be a lot investment, public investment, or was it?
Yes, I'm glad you got to enjoy that. But yes, absolutely, the people of Denver made the investment. They invested in the arts, and I'll tell you, it's the heart and soul of who we are. I think a lot, you know, we're one of the fastest growing cities in the country today. I just got an article from my office today that says we're the #3 destination for retirees in the nation. And a lot of the reason why that happens is because of the arts, culture and arts program that we have in the city of Denver, that people who are retiring want to have easy, affordable access to the arts and culture community.
To hear that the largest destination for people who is retired.
Absolutely.
I also wonder, also saw great golf courses. I play golf.
Did you play golf?
I think Denver, Colorado is only place in March or so you can ski.
Yes.
And at the same evening or next morning you can golf, right?
Yeah, we like to say this, and this is true. You can, Denver is centrally located. You can wake up and ski in the morning, have a couple runs, drive down to Denver in 45 minutes, play a round of golf, have lunch, be on a plane and then have dinner in New York. And we're one of the few cities that you can do all that in.
And plus, indeed, it's in the middle of the country.
It's in the middle of the country.
Close to any part, any coasts.
Right.
Yeah. Well, also because Denver has a mayor fit like you, so I would like to see your, I want you to share with us the vision of cooperation between 2 cities and between Colorado and Mongolia. How do you see that?
You know, we are working to get beyond just the symbolic nature of memorandums of understanding and sister city relationships. This is now about time that we work on the economic, cultural, and educational strengthening of our relationships. So my vision is really where we are doing bilateral exchanges with our students, whether they're in primary school or in college and university. As well as our professional exchanges, so that we can share ideas, share best practices, and help improve each other's skills. I know that, for example, Mongolia just passed a new law to allow for municipalities to tax. Well, we can help with how to implement those kind of strategies. And so by implanting some of the local government professionals in our taxing department should help understand how we go about the process of collecting and distributing those revenues. And so those are the kind of things I'm looking at, but also economic exchange opportunities where we improve trade, where business relationships occur that are mutually beneficial. Those are the opportunities that I think we have. I want to bring some of your performing artists. I've seen 3 different performances since I've been here, blown away by the contortionists, by the musicians that I've seen, the singers, the throat singing.
That's what about it.
Absolutely, that's exactly. And I would love to see that in Denver. We'd love to bring some of our performing artists here as well. Maybe my wife will come and sing at some point. Those are the kind of opportunities I think that we needed to capitalize
educational, cultural, city management,
Absolutely.
park management. There are already some people who are traveling from Mongolia, learning in Colorado, and Mongolians here are very thankful to people who are making, starting from you, people a lot who is doing it possible, like our honorary consul, Jim Wagenlander, there for many years, and the activists and leadership from University of Denver, Colorado, or Colorado University in Denver. There's a lot, the sort of community where people really enthusiastically work.
Absolutely.
I think that's thanks to these people, things go every year traditionally like this. And
right.
Mayor, that's so happy. We are so happy to see you here.
I'm glad to be here. I've enjoyed myself tremendously. Thank you for having me.
I'm so happy having you on this show, which I think many people, Mongolians even in Colorado, will see, and Americans in Colorado as well, of course, and Mongolians who has connections with your wonderful city and the state.
Well, we certainly extend an open invitation to all Mongolians who would love to come. We're going to be coming here. We're going to do a lot together. We're in this for the long haul, so we look forward to the relationship. Thank you very much.
За хүн төлөгчтэй өнөөдөр манай дефакто нэвтрүүлгийн зочноор манай Улаанбаатар хотод ихч дүүгийн харилцаатай Дэнвер хотын дарга ноён Майкл Хэнкок оролцлоо. Их баярлалаа.